Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're back for our New Year's Day episode of the Brunch and Judge.
It's 2023. Yes.
Yay! It feels it feels kind of weird, like we're talking to our future selves who made it through 2022.
Right.
So, like, we're already in the new year when
Because, like, right now it's not
you're
even
hearing
Christmas
this.
yet.
I know. No, it's
Not
not. No, it's
Christmas.
not even Christmas yet. God, Christmas.
Five
Um,
five shopping days till Christmas. Where
I
we're at right
think
now.
I think other than the cats, I think I'm done. Just not everybody has
Um,
theirs.
the ones I have left are gift cards.
Hmm,
That's what I have left.
that's
It's
nice.
work people. I have gift cards. My brother and my sister-in-law have given me no ideas, so probably gift cards.
You know, my brother and my sister-in-law tend to get us gift cards,
Do they?
which is my preferred option. If you're unsure,
Right. I
gift
mean,
card. I mean, I'll happily spend it. I'll think of you each and every time.
right, right. No, but I asked Walt, and he was like, "Well, you could donate some money to my car fund because apparently they've spent like I don't know $10,000 on both of their vehicles in the last month and a
Mm,
half." And then he wound up getting a new vehicle because
mm-hmm.
they took his truck in like 3 times and it still wasn't fixed. And
Wow.
and so finally I think he just took it and traded it in. But then he
Mm-hmm.
said he accidentally called me on Snapchat the other day.
Oh,
I know, like FaceTime on Snapchat. It was weird. I was like, why is he calling me?
you were
Did
like,
somebody die?
yeah.
Because Walt never calls me. But mom and dad went down to their house to babysit the children because Walt and Allie had a wedding to go to,
Mm-hmm.
which turned out to be outside. Who has an outside wedding in December?
I don't know. It's in the South. It's probably
Yeah.
fine.
No, but Allie was like, it's cold.
Well, right. But like my mom and I had this conversation. Cold to like me living in Washington is a very different cold than my brother who lives in Florida. So
True.
like
But still.
he was cold when they came up for Thanksgiving apparently, and mom is concerned for Christmas because it's supposed to be like 13 degrees or
Oh my
something
God, it's supposed to
ridiculous.
be so cold here for Christmas.
So she's like, "It was so
Yeah,
cold last time." I was like, "Well, just get an electric blanket, pull out the snuggie."
I
I
know,
mean,
right?
look, I'm sorry that he lost his ability to handle Kentucky.
Right. No,
Mm.
but anyway, so Walt was telling me on this phone call that he bought this car and he drives it home and he had it home like less than 24 hours and then discovered he ran over some nails and had to buy new tires.
All four?
I don't know if it was I can't 2 maybe.
Oh
I can't remember what he
God.
said, but still, it was just like and I think they had the transmission replaced in their van. I don't even know.
Were
If
you
mom was telling
like,
me about it,
what person did you offend that put this curse on
I know on
you?
all your
Holy cow.
vehicles,
I
right?
mean,
And all at
wow.
once,
All
yeah.
at once. Oh, that's the worst.
Yes. But anyway.
Mm.
So yeah, that was yeah, random
Hmm.
phone call with my brother. That's why he's like, give me some cash to put toward my my broken vehicle fund to
Hmm.
replenish it because I've spent all this money. So anyway, that or a gift card. I don't know.
So, Claire, what are
Yes.
you judging this week?
Oh boy. I'm sure some of you have heard. Florida man made another announcement.
No way. Not
Yes,
Florida man.
way. No, it was no, he was like, "Oh, Trump's got a big announcement." It's like, "Okay, what now?"
What could
You
it be?
know,
Is he running for like Supreme Emperor of the universe? I
probably.
mean,
Yes. Yes. He's running he thinks he can be God. I don't know. Anyway. No, he is releasing trading cards that are NFTs, which
what?
basically NFTs are like the Bitcoin of online art.
And let's all look at how Bitcoin turned out.
Right, right, right. That's like the easiest way for me to explain it. But anyway, these trading cards and they're all you need to go look them up. I'll send you pics. We'll throw up some ridiculous
Oh God.
images here because they are fucking ridiculous.
I mean,
Anyway,
my assumption is that they're NFTs of him, though, right?
oh yes.
Okay, I mean, because
Yes, him
he's
is
that
like
narcissistic guy. So
him is like Superman, him is like I don't know.
ew,
It's all like this like put him on a pedestal. They look
ew.
fucking ridiculous bullshit. They're all different images of him.
I mean,
Anyway,
I guess I
you
should
can
feel
purchase
bad.
oh yes, you can purchase them for $99.
Yay.
And and so then all you have is this digital image.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're saying that they've all sold out within like, I don't know, 2 hours or some
Well, of
bullshit.
course, because Donald Trump at this point, I don't know that he was ever really that rich.
Oh, right,
I
right,
think he
right.
has mostly failed and lied and cheated or whatever. I don't think he actually has. I mean, he has way more money than I'll ever have. Let's be real. But
Right.
I don't think he had as much money as he
Mm-mm.
wanted the world to think he had. And so
No.
now he's being able to get it, and it's entirely from his base of mostly poor people, by the way.
Right.
So that's
So in
awesome. Good job.
yeah, NFT stands for non-fungible token, by
Mm-hmm.
the way, if you want to know what that stands for. But anyway, it only exists online. So it's not like these people are going to get
Any
like
kind
a
of
hard
tangible thing.
copy
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, they're not going to get a hard copy of this. Anyway, it only exists on the interwebs. And I saw a TikTok. And if this is true, I absolutely would not be shocked. But somebody was, it's a conspiracy theory, whatever, that this is just a ploy for him to launder money. So what it is, he's got all his dirty money
Mm-hmm.
that he gets, and then he gives it to these people who will go out and they will buy these NFTs of him, these
Mm-hmm.
trading cards. I use that term loosely. These, cards of him in his various states of ridiculousness that are portrayed in this online art. And so then that way, when they pay the money back to him, that like washes the money so that this is all just a giant like money laundering scheme. And I would not be surprised if that was
Hmm.
like a thing either. Either way,
Yeah.
it's insane. The concept itself is insane, but I don't think he's that smart. But he might be surrounded by smart
Well, but
people. I don't
he
know.
should be
But
surrounded by smart
still,
people by this point, so
I mean, but yeah. But it's just the whole thing, all of it. And then like I said, I saw that TikTok that was like conspiracy theory, guessing that this was like a money laundering scheme. And I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't shock me either, if this turned out to be something where
mm-hmm.
he's using this to do whatever. I don't know, but it's the whole thing is ridiculous. And there's like a commercial for him, it's like, "Oh, I've got these and you're going to want them." And it's just like, "Oh god, it's so ugh. It's disgusting. It's bleh." Like who wants that? Nobody wants that. Ugh. Anyway, that's my judge. I'm judging all of it. It's just if people actually spent their hard-earned money on this bullshit,
Yeah.
then they're stupid. It's just like, they got duped because they don't actually own anything. It's only online. It's just ugh. Like NFT, like trying to read up on NFT because again, it only exists in the blockchain and that whole thing, because we did that whole Bitcoin
Right.
episode, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like trying to read it is like, oh god, this makes my brain turn to mush. But that's like the easiest way for like layman's terms is it's like the Bitcoin for online art. It's only online. It's stupid. But yeah, $99 you can pay per image.
Wow.
Just throw your money
Wow.
in the road and set it on fire. That would be better than buying this. It's all I gotta say.
There was a time, it's been, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago when NFTs first really started being around, um, in the common vernacular,
Yeah.
whatnot. But I won't say his name, but my oldest
Right,
nephew,
right.
Claire knows who that is, was trying to convince me and some other family members that that's where the money is. You gotta, like, he was really excited to earn more money so that he could invest in NFTs. And I was like, yeah, it's not real. Like, there's no real.
Yeah.
It's a digital thing that can just disappear. Like,
Here, right.
or that someone can
Yes.
hack and take. Like, it's. and you
Right.
can't really stop people from using the image because it's already been out there because it had to be an image in order to be offered. Like
Right.
I don't understand, but okay.
Same. Anyway, that's my judge.
An excellent
Is that
judge.
happened? That happened this week, and I was like, "What?" So, yeah, that's my judge. So, what are you judging this week?
So, forgive me. It's not Christmas here yet. And last week we had our city's big Christmas party, and I'm on that committee.
Yay,
Yay.
committees.
It's fine. It was at our library, so like I really had to care and be a part of it, and like
It was at the
was
library.
like trying because it's the library is a terrible place. There's 115 people that work for the city,
Okay.
and the party is, come eat, pick up they give us a turkey or a ham for Christmas.
Right,
Um,
right.
pick that up and whatever. And so they were adamant that it had to be at the library this year, and I'm like, our meeting room will hold 42 people
Right. You're like,
without
this is not going to
and
hold
that's
all the.
well, and I'm like, that's not including all the tables we have to set up for the caterer and to who serves the meals, and like
Right.
it's a whole thing. So it was a lot. It was a lot. But one of my things that I had done is I had ordered cookies from a local bakery that I won't name, even though I'm angry. Um, I ordered
Mm-hmm.
cookies several weeks ago, ugly sweater cookies and I had asked them
Aw,
initially
cute.
for that was our Christmas theme or our party theme. And I had asked them the first time to give me
Okay.
two quotes, one for decorated cookies and then one for making like a little individual decorate your own kit. We
Okay.
at the library have used them to do like a decorate your own gingerbread boy
Gotcha.
take home kit kind of thing. And they just packaged, a few little things. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had quotes for both. And then we decided, already decorated just because it's easier for people to grab,
Right.
no big deal. And so um called them back. One of my coworkers went down actually in person and made that order for me when she was making a different order. Um, this past week, I was down there 3 separate times. Once to kind of just check in with them because I also needed them to fill out a W-9, which is another nightmare story.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and another time to give them the cookie cutter because they didn't order one, which should have been my first warning. And I was like, well, luckily we have one at the library, so it's
You got
fine.
a sweater cookie cutter.
Yeah, so I can bring it down.
Oh my! You
And
had
then
to take them a fucking cookie cutter.
I did. I did.
I'm
And
like, that's
then
ridiculous.
again to take another W-9 and walk them through filling it out because they didn't understand how to fill it out.
How are they a business? That's what I want to know.
Complicated.
I would feel like if they are a business like that that does provide services to other businesses, they probably should have already filled out plenty of W-9s by that point. That's.
It's not how
I'm
things
just
work.
saying.
No,
I'm just
I'm here for
saying.
you so hard. Anyway, in that time, reconfirm my order. 100 cookies, decorated, didn't care what
Hmm.
they look like. $150 is what my quote had been. I'm like, fine,
Hmm.
whatever.
For 100 cookies.
For 100 cookies. I thought
Okay.
that's
That's yeah.
$1.50 a cookie. That's great. Fine.
That's not bad.
Super
Yeah.
easy.
Right.
So I go down Thursday morning, an hour before the party starts to pick them up. They're not decorated.
What?
They're just two boxes of plain sugar cookies. And I was like, they were like, yeah, you
What?
you said you didn't want them decorated. I said, no, I didn't. And in fact, when we checked the order thing yesterday, I read the thing that they wrote all that stuff down.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, and then on top of that, they're like, and you said you were gonna buy stuff or you were gonna get the stuff to decorate them. I was like, no, I've never said that.
No.
Never in a million years have I said that. So, and then I'm fucked. So like, I had these undecorated cookies. So I had to run to Kroger and I bought a bunch of icing and tips and shit that cost me personally a fortune that I have to get the city to reimburse me for.
Right.
And had to set up like a decorate your own thing with
Oh
and I hated it.
no.
And so like it super irked me. And it
Well, yeah.
because we had the meeting room door open that day because of all the people. It was colder than Jesus could ever imagine. Like it
Yeah.
was really like shivering cold in there. Um, the tube things with the icing, people had a hard time with it because
It wasn't
it wasn't warm
warm.
enough to go through the tips, and so like some of them exploded, and I was like, "This is great.
Oh
I hate my life."
no.
Um, and then on top of all of that, I found out that the W9 that they filled out was still not correct, so I have to go back again.
Oh
And I'm
God.
like, I hate them.
Right.
God damn it. And anyway,
Is this bakery in Oregon or in?
yes, it
Okay.
is one that I will never use again. In fact, I forbade our staff from ordering cookies from them ever again, and that's a huge chunk of money they're losing, all because they argued with me about it. It's like, but you said it's like I've been down here every day for 3 days. I don't know what the fuck
Right.
you're talking about. So whatever.
Jeez. I'm sorry that happened. That
Uh,
just that
that is
sounds
what
so
I'm judging
incredibly
because
frustrating.
like the stupid party was stressful, and I spent 2 entire days of my life on the goddamn party,
Right.
and I don't care. It's a waste of my time, and yes, I plan lots of events at the library, but I don't want to plan them for the city with that's
Right.
not going to give me a decent enough budget to go
To
away
do
from.
anything with it.
Or,
Yeah.
I'm like, and also I don't care. We're not really part of the city. We're a
Right.
county library system. It's just the
Mhm.
city manages our specific library. God, I want to bitch slap whoever came up with this arrangement because it's so fucking frustrating. Because I'm not a fan of the city.
Right.
I mean, there's some good, nice people who work there, but they've just not handled things in a way that make me happy. So,
Right.
ugh, angry.
I'm sorry that oh, that sounds terrible.
So yes, so like that was a lot of stress, and I don't have to care about it until Wednesday this week at least.
Well,
So
that's good.
I'll go down and be like, I'm thinking about just handing it to them, being like, you can return it to City Hall because I don't want to be
Right.
a bitch at this point. I'm so fucking
Right. You're just
angry.
like I'm over you right now.
Mm.
How frustrating.
Hmm.
Well, I'm sorry that happened.
That's okay. It's 2023 now, so
It
everything's
is
fine. Everything's
2023.
fine. Happy 2023.
Yay.
All right, so this week's topic, which we forgot to mention at the top of the episode.
Oh,
Oops,
that's true.
no
Oops.
biggie. This week's topic is villains. Da, 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 da.
It is villains.
So Claire goes first this week.
Yes, it's
Yes.
me. It is me. All right. So, I am going to be talking about the real life inspiration for Annie Wilkes from Misery.
That's so hysterical. I almost did that.
Did you really? Oh
Oh
my
my, like
god, I didn't think you would ever.
I was like, Spencer and I, we had a long conversation. I was like, okay, so like, am I trying to go like real life? And he's like, or like fictional. And I was like, gosh, I don't know. Cause like, I thought about doing the real life inspiration of Annie Wilkes because she was crazy nurse.
Right.
And like, it's super scary. And then he's like, well, but you could do fictional. I was like, okay, okay. I mean,
See, and
she
that's
still
where I
makes an
was at.
appearance in my story. So
Okay. But that was like, I was like, yeah.
that's so
Because
funny.
that's what I was
I
like
would have
Googling. I
died. I
was
would have stared
like,
at you and been like, but Claire, that's my story.
oh god. Anyway, oh, I'm glad that it's not. Oh my gosh, we've never done that. Like, because usually you'll ask me, like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? Or I'll ask you. And I thought,
Mhm.
oh, never in a million
They're
years will
never
she
in a
pick
million
this.
years would we pick the same thing on villains. Yeah.
Right. Right. It's crazy. Anyway, so for those of you who don't know, Annie Wilkes was the antagonist in the Stephen King novel Misery, also in the Rob Reiner movie adaptation as well, played by Kathy Bates. And I think she got an Academy Award for that.
She better
If,
have, because she's
if not the
scary
award, she did
AF.
get nominated. And for those of you who don't know the story about Misery, James Caan in the movie plays a writer, a novelist whose name was Paul Sheldon, and he's driving and he wrecks, and Annie Wilkes finds him and brings him back to her house, and nurses trying to like nurse him back to health, and then she realizes he's Paul Sheldon and he's like her favorite.
Mm.
I'm your number
Mm.
one fan, Paul. Anyway,
Number
he
one.
writes these books called Misery, and they're romance novels about this character named Misery Chastain. And she finds out that in his latest book that he's written, and he's actually on his way to turn it into the publishers. She finds out that he has killed off the character. She's enraged by it. She holds him hostage. She breaks his feet. In the book, she actually cuts one of his feet off. And
Mm-hmm.
she cuts off a finger too in the book.
Mm-hmm.
um anyway, but while he is being held hostage in this house, captive, he sneaks around and he finds a scrapbook of newspaper clippings about her. And well, first it was, some of them, and I can't remember if this was just the book or the movie too, but it was like, her roommate who had died, and somebody else that she knew who had died, and then it was
Her
like,
neighbors.
yeah, her neighbors had died, and then it was children in this hospital that she worked at who died, and then how she'd been arrested but not convicted, and then there were clippings about him missing, and so that's when he's like, oh my god, she's legit batshit crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so there was a real life inspiration for this character, and her name was Genene Jones. And she was born July 13th, 1950, and she was adopted by a nightclub owner and his wife. And all this takes place in Texas. Shock surprise.
And I'm like,
Texas.
and Texas.
And she worked as a beautician before she attended nursing school in the 70s. She married really young when she was 18, wound up having a kid with the guy, got divorced, they reconciled, she got pregnant, had another kid, and then somewhere in there they got divorced again. And then, like, way later on, before she goes to jail, um, she gets married to like a 19-year-old
Mm-hmm.
who then, after she did go to jail, they got divorced. But anyway, so that's like some background of her. In 1981 through 1982, Genene Jones was an LVN uh, nurse at Bexar County Hospital, which is now known as University Hospital of San Antonio. And during her shifts, dozens of children would die in the ICU just during her shifts. So,
Mm-hmm.
mostly were directly under her care, and it seemed that the children were more than 10 times likely to die from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., which was her shift, than
Wow.
any other shift in this ICU. And says most of them died under mysterious circumstances, things that you wouldn't see pop up a lot in children.
Mm-hmm.
They would just stop breathing, have seizures. Some of them have cardiac events, bleeding profusely because their blood wouldn't clot, but they didn't have any known diseases that would like
Mm-hmm.
prevent their blood
It's
from
like we
clotting,
don't
that
know
kind of
what's
thing.
happening.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why this kid's bleeding. Why won't stop? All these unusual deaths raised a lot of suspicions in the hospital, as I would hope they would.
Right? It's like you hope
you
that
know,
there's like a someone that's paying attention, be like, a lot of people
right.
seem to die.
However, the hospital didn't want bad press.
Of course not.
Yeah, I know. So instead of really investigating or just firing Genene Jones, the hospital wound up removing all of their LVNs and replaced them with real registered nurses.
Okay.
And so they were saying that they were basically like upgrading to a better trained staff in the
Mm-hmm.
ICU. And this is what drives me crazy. They even offered her another job within the hospital. So it's like we have this suspicion, but we're still gonna like try to give you another job.
Yeah, well, but maybe it would be more like
They didn't
not
say, it
with
didn't
like
say what it
icy,
was.
like maybe ones that's like you
Right.
can't kill all these people because it would be too obvious.
Right. Right. But she wound up choosing to leave, but they gave her, you know, stellar recommendation letters. So she had these letters to take with her to
Oh
whatever
God,
job
I
she
hope that the
wanted.
next people can sue the shit out of this first hospital because wow.
Yep. And then after her departure, these mysterious deaths just stopped.
Oh,
I know. It's like,
interesting.
and so after she leaves, then they decide to do some kind of internal inquiry, and it was launched, and it was found that at least 10 children died during Jones's shifts. And they came out and said this association of Nurse Jones with the deaths of the 10 children could be coincidental. However, negligence or wrongdoing cannot be excluded. And that was like kind of the end of that at the time. Like
Hmm.
there was really nothing else really going on. It was like, oh, these kids died. It could
Wow.
be an accident. It's just like, okay, great. What was that for? What good did that do? I don't know. So after leaving Bexar County Hospital in San Antonio, Jones took a similar job in a pediatric clinic in Kerrville, which was 60 miles northwest of San Antonio. So she wasn't that far from where she had been before. And soon after she took this job, multiple children became sick after receiving immunization shots at this clinic.
Hmm.
And so the doctor in the clinic discovered that there were puncture marks in a vial slash bottle of, don't at me on this pronunciation. I looked it up and now I can't remember it. I think it was succinylcholine. Yeah, succinylcholine
Mm-hmm.
that was in a storage cabinet. And only she and Jones had access to this storage cabinet. And even though there were punctures in it, the bottle was full, which was tested later. And they found that it was mostly water and only 20% of the
Of succinylcholine.
succinylcholine. Yeah.
Ooh. Hmm.
So, for those of you who don't know what succinylcholine
I mean,
is,
I'm going. I know I've heard this because like Grey's Anatomy back when I
right.
watched that, but
Back when we were into that. Actually, I've never gotten into Grey's Anatomy, but it's a
eh.
drug that is a powerful short acting paralytic and causes temporary paralysis of all skeletal muscles and can paralyze your lungs. And it's used as a general anesthetic, but it's, I guess, like when you're having surgery, so the patient can't breathe on their
Hmm.
own.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's used in small children, it can cause cardiac arrest due to lack of respiration.
Wow.
So basically, you can't breathe, your heart stops, and you die. So
Yay.
while she's at this clinic,
God.
I know, it's like, oh, geez. So while she is at this pediatric clinic in Kerrville, 15-month-old Chelsea McLennan came to the clinic for just immunization, as babies do.
That was her
And,
first mistake.
uh huh. And instead of giving her the correct drugs, and I read in this, oh, crap. Speaking of that, my sources
Oh,
are
sources.
sources,
It's source
uh,
time.
Wikipedia, All That's Interesting, and Texas Monthly.
Oh,
Um,
Texas Monthly.
yes, and gave her a shot of the succinylcholine.
Mm-hmm.
And I read this. One of the articles was talking about the mom was saying that she gave her the shot and she immediately starts having trouble breathing.
Oh wow.
And so she winds up giving her another shot, and the baby gets worse. And so then they're rushing the baby to the hospital, and somehow she gets in the ambulance with the kid and gives her a third shot. So this kid had 3 doses of succinylcholine in her system.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. And so the paralytic basically stopped her heart and she died.
Right,
15
of
months
course.
old. Yeah. So this particular death launched a criminal investigation. which as it should have.
Yes.
And many, and I guess they went back to these other hospitals, many testimonies stated that there was a trail of deaths linked to the children under
Hmm.
Genene Jones's care. And she was eventually arrested and charged with just the one murder
Oh. Well, yeah,
because
okay.
that was
That
all
was one they
they
could prove.
yeah, because I mean it was like she was there.
Yeah.
So in 1985, Jones was sentenced to 99 years in jail. And her defense was basically that she was trying to create a need for a pediatric ICU in Kerrville, but there was no reason for like the other stuff before that because she wanted to be an
Wow.
IC she wanted to be an ICU nurse again, I guess. But anyway, so she was sentenced to 99 years in jail, and later that same year in 85, she had another 60 years added to her sentence for the attempted murder of a 4-week-old baby named Rolando Santos. And she injected him with heparin, which is a blood thinner that
Mm-hmm.
can cause massive bleeding. And it was also noted that she had injected some children with digoxin, which
Digoxin.
is used to treat various heart conditions like atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, and heart failure. So she's giving these kids a bunch of shit they don't need.
Mm-hmm.
Even in ICU, it's like they probably don't need all this shit.
Mm-mm.
So even though she had received these two really long sentences, you would think life, because 99 plus 60, you know, she was actually scheduled to be released in 2018
Hmm.
due to overcrowding and this fantastic thing called the Texas Mandatory Release Law, where,
Gross.
yeah, inmates convicted of violent crimes between 1977 and 1987 could be automatically released if their good behavior credit, whatever the fuck that means, plus their time served equaled their sentence. So I don't know what the hell good behavior credit means. I'm doing quotes around that because I don't
Right.
know what the
I
fuck that is.
assume that means that if you're good, you can earn time that you're supposed
Back.
to serve so that you
Yeah,
don't
which
have
is
to serve
basically
it.
so like whatever your good behavior credit is
Whatever.
equals whatever time you served. If that winds up equaling what your sentence was, then you could be released.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
says that the law was changed in 1987, but it wasn't retroactive. So, anyway, but she was in jail in 85. So, it wasn't like, oh, we can only do it for those 2 years that you were,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was like she was in jail during the time it was there. So, it still applied to her. Whatever. Ridiculous.
Whatever.
Anyway, so Texas prosecutors knew that I guess after reading testimony, there had to have been more
Mm-hmm.
crimes than these two that she'd actually been convicted for. But a lot of the hospital records from Bexar County were missing or had been destroyed,
Right.
because that was, I mean, this is 2018 at this point. That
Mm-hmm.
was what, 30 something years ago. They probably didn't keep all that shit. I wouldn't either. you know. So, let's see. Bexar County DA Nicholas LaHood wound up charging Jones with the murder of Joshua Sawyer, who was an infant that died in Jones's care in 1981. He was suffering from seizures and a coma after he had smoke inhalation from a fire that destroyed his family's home. And even though he was in a coma, the doctor said that when he was in the ICU, he was improving and showing signs of recovery until he was under Jones's care on her shift.
Mm-hmm.
And then mysteriously, his condition began to worsen. He had like several instances of cardiac arrest before his heart stopped completely. And I guess when they autopsied, they discovered he had more than double the regular dose of Dilantin in his system, which is an anti seizure drug. And
Hmm.
this kid was not even 1 year old at the time.
Right.
So, and then 2 months after he charged her with that, they charged her with the death of Rosemary Vega, 2-year old with a congenital heart defect that died after receiving shots, and she had suffered from cardiac arrest. And they also charged her with 3 more murders. A kid named Ricky Nelson, who died on July 3rd, 1981. Paul Villarreal, September 24th, 1981, and Patrick Zavala, January 17th, 1982.
Hmm.
So at this point, they're like, we've got to keep her in jail because if we
Yeah.
don't, she's going to get out. It'll be probably harder to get her back in once
Yeah.
she's out. So January 16th of 2020, Jones wound up pleading guilty to the murder of Joshua Sawyer as part of a plea deal. So if she pled guilty to that one, they
Hmm.
dropped the 4 other charges because I guess they didn't really need that to
Right.
keep her in jail. But anyway, she was sentenced to life and will not be eligible for parole until she's 87. And it is estimated that over 60 children died at the hands of Genene Jones while she was a nurse.
Wow. Oh God, that's awful.
It is terrible. And it's like, for what?
Well, I mean, bad people exist, but what's more bothersome is that it wouldn't be on the first hospital.
Right.
Like that first hospital
Could have stopped it.
should have
Yeah.
done something because
Right.
like they suspected, so there should have been an investigation. They should, at the
They should
very
not have given her good letters of
yeah, it's like
recommendation. Like, why
minimum,
would you do that? Why would you give somebody a glowing letter of recommendation if you suspected them of killing at least 10
right?
children at your hospital
Well,
that you think you
and
know
it's
of,
like, why wouldn't they at least have confronted her with it to be like, at least in that way of, we've noticed that kids are this
Right.
percent more likely to die under your care. We're going to have someone be with you all the time to make sure your training is up, doing something
Right.
like
Right. But this was
to be
also the
like, hey, we've
80s.
noticed that this shit's happening,
Right.
so stop. But wow.
Yeah. It was the 80s.
Yes, it
But
was
what is it? It's
the
better to look good than to be good. So
That's right.
anyway, so that is the story of Genene Jones, who loosely inspired the villain Annie Wilkes of Misery.
Wow. Impressing. Like, I just knew, like, the base story because I decided to go a different route, thankfully.
Thank God. My gosh, we would
I'm
have been like, oh my God, we got the same
like,
story.
"Oh my god. Oh my god. We did it. Oh my god."
Like, how did that happen? Alrighty. So, what story have you brought us about villains?
Well, I decided that since this is New Year's Day, and the only thing that I can think of semi-related to New Year's is counting down from 10. Like, we was like 10, 9,
Yeah,
8.
yes.
So I decided that instead of doing a deep dive and learning something helpful to tell you guys, instead, I'm going to give you my top 10 villains.
These are your top 10,
Mine.
not
These I
just,
chose.
okay.
These are the ones I chose because I am certain that my opinion is the most important opinion out there. So I'm absolutely
Okay.
right, and you can't add anyone else to this list. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did get a little bit of information from Wikipedia and the Jstor daily newsletter, which
Okay.
okay then, yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with number 10.
Yes.
These are in a particular order. Just I'm right and you're wrong. It's fine. um, and you're not
Noted.
gonna find like Darth Vader on my list. Sorry, guys. I don't fucking care. It's fine. Okay, number 10,
Yes.
Thanos.
Oh, and I know why too. Because you think he's semi-correct.
Okay, so yeah, so yes, obviously Thanos is super villain. He's super bad guy. I mean, he's over here murdering lots of people, but like he's not wrong. I mean, the
Right.
murder part's wrong. It's fine. But he's not
Yes.
wrong about overpopulation being a big fucking deal and problematic.
Right.
So he's not wrong there. He's not wrong about
No.
limited resources and any of that. He's just wrong in how
How he.
he's
Yeah.
dealing with the situation, because it's pretty fucking sick to go to a planet and like round
Because
everyone up into two groups and then just randomly pick one group and murder them all. It's pretty
right.
horrific. Pretty
Yes.
gross, pretty bad. So awful. And like his ultimate big bad was the snap, and
Yeah.
like half of the or a third or his half, right?
It's half.
Ha-
Yeah.
Half of the population of the universe
Just
disappears.
disappeared. Yep.
And I'm over here like, it's pretty fucking stupid storyline. It's a wasted snap. Like it's
Right.
wasted because ultimately he's not stopping overpopulation from being a problem with his snap. Just not being a problem right now.
Now, like he fixed it, but it's still gonna wind up probably being a problem down the
I mean,
line.
like he
Back to it. Yeah.
instead could have like snapped with the wish that the universe always has more than enough resources and the ability to take care of the entire population. Like you can be cool like that and give instead of like take. Um, or wish that half of the population would be infertile for forever or something.
Right.
Let's take or really, he should have read Dan Brown's book Inferno
Yes.
and taken that.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the, not the movie. Don't watch the movie. The book, only the book.
100%.
Hmm.
Only the book.
Only the book. So like it just, he's not wrong. His approach is horrible, but like, you know, villain, but maybe not like top 5 villain, obviously.
right. Right.
Okay. Number 9. You ready?
Yes.
Jaws.
Jaws.
And I say this because before Jaws, the movie came out, like people were mostly like unaware of sharks. They didn't really pay attention to sharks. In fact,
that's
something that
fair.
I read was that there's such little scientific data specifically on sharks that like a lot of people thought they lived in like the liminal spaces like the Fae or whatever. Like it's such a weird,
Oh, okay.
like just no one really knew about it, no one cared about it, no one panicked about it. And if there had been like a shark attack or something, this made me laugh. Police would often just come to the shore and like shoot their machine guns, because we're talking back in the day here,
What?
into the water. Not that it was supposed to kill the shark or anything, but it made people feel better because like something had been done, and so then it was all
right.
fine again. And I'm going, okay, sure, sure.
Okay.
But then Jaws comes out and it destroys everyone.
Right.
To like even to today, like we all panic about shark attacks, and if like it never happens, it's really fucking rare. And so like maybe 10 people in the world die a year from a shark attack.
Right.
It's really not going to happen to you. Like I am just like, okay. Like don't get me
But
wrong,
like,
when I go to
for
the ocean and
example,
I see a thing in the
yes.
water, I'd absolutely scream like a girl and run out. I'm here, but I'm
Well, I
here
mean, my
because of
family
Jaws.
has my family's been going to Myrtle Beach now since God, when I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just say 6th grade. Let's 12, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
now 38. My family has been going to Myrtle Beach every single summer
Never been attacked
and
by a shark.
never even seen a shark
Mm-mm.
until like 3 or 4 summers ago.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like, we got out of the ocean, we were going back to the umbrellas to sit down because we were done, we were tired. And then the guy, and it was just so like nonchalant and like blase. Guy gets down and he blows the whistle and he's like just waving people back, everybody back in. And usually when they do that, it's because of like
Mm-hmm.
rip currents or fish, like schools of fish come in and then they
Yeah.
think there's potential for a
Right.
shark. And so we're sitting there and this lady who's like, her stuff is near ours, she asked the lifeguard, she was like, oh, what's going on? And he just was like, there was a shark spotted down the beach. And then she comes back to tell her husband, she's like, that guy said there's a shark in the water. And I was like, Mom, that guy said there's a shark. And so then everybody gets up and it's just like everybody's like all along the
Looking,
edge
yeah.
of the water. Like, and here comes the shark with its little fin
And
just
he's
swimming,
just swimming.
swimming, swimming right next to the shore. But I mean, like I said, we've been going there since I
Mm-hmm.
was 12, and that happened like 3 or 4 years ago. First time I've ever, whoops, hit
Mm-hmm.
my mic. First time I've ever seen a shark. And it was like you said, it's not.
Well, and that's the thing, is like
I mean, I've
it's
seen
scary
jellyfish
and
more
like,
often.
oh god, I see them all the time. But like it's scary, but it's scary because of this movie. But
Right.
also Jaws the movie, to get a little meta, is also a villain because as a result of that
Yes.
movie, there's been a lot of shark fishing, overfishing immediately
Right.
after the movie for trophies, but like
Right.
it's kind of, it's bad. Mm. But so that's number 9. Okay. Number 8,
Yes.
Cruella de Vil. Now
Oh.
look, so yeah, it's a Disney movie, but like, guys, she was
She wanted
this.
to kill the dogs.
Well, but
Like,
there's so much. Like, she's that weird, forceful, sickly sweet villain to her dear friend Anita, darling Anita.
uh-huh.
And it's like she's just always like throwing her weight around, and it feels gross and dirty. But
Gross.
then it's like she wants to
Mm-hmm.
have a coat made out of dog fur. Like, what the hell?
Right.
But so what you don't
I
know,
must have those puppies.
what you don't know is that in the book, because it's based on a book, obviously Disney
Yes.
don't can't come up with their own ideas.
Right.
But in the book, there's also a Persian cat. Like Cruella de Vil owns a Persian cat, and she says to people in the book that she would have killed the cat if it wasn't worth so much money. Like she's abusive to this poor Persian cat in this book.
Aw, poor
And so,
kitty.
just so you feel better, the Persian is part of like the retribution plan from the Dalmatians. Help them escape. They escape together, and
Gotcha.
you know, Persian kitty lives happily ever after. But like, damn, she's mean.
That is hateful.
Yeah. Okay.
That is hateful.
Number 7,
Yes.
Severus Snape.
Snape. Snape. Severus Snape.
Okay, so like I know this is very polarizing, but like
No, it shouldn't
it
be.
shouldn't be.
It
Like, I
shouldn't
feel like
be.
if you feel like Snape earned a redemption arc or felt like he was truly deep down good or any of those things, you might need to seek some therapy and some intervention because there's a lot of shit that's going on that is not
Right.
okay. Like, not okay. Um,
Right.
he's not good. He's not a good guy.
No.
Just because he switched sides and it's not, that doesn't make him good. It just
No.
means he switched sides. Lord. I
I know.
mean, the person he claimed he loved more than anyone, Lily, he calls her a mudblood and he treats her horrifically and gross. Like
Snape
he's like,
is he's an incel.
well, and he's like
That's what
this,
he
yes,
yes.
and he's this obsessed stalkery, like he just obsesses over her, and we're supposed to find it sweet or
Endearing.
endearing that his Patronus changed to her Patronus, or that you know that he has loved her so much and that he will always love her. Because I'm like, you were not good to her, and his only stipulation to Voldemort was he's like, you can kill James, you can kill Harry, a baby,
Right.
but don't kill Lily. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what in the hell? Like, fine, I get maybe there's no love lost with James, but like that child that then he treated horrifically, even when they all believe Voldemort
Right.
was super gonzo, like in the beginning of the series,
Yes.
you know, he hates Harry because he's James's child, but refuses to love Harry because he's Lily's. Like, it's gross.
And I would venture
It's
to say
fucking
that
gross.
what he felt for Lily was not love.
No, it
It
was
was just
not love.
obsession.
It was
It
obsession, and
was
it was bad. Like
yes.
that's a toxic relationship. It's not okay.
And the
God.
fact that like
Blech.
at the end of that stupid book, you find out he named his kid after him, and I'm
That made
just
me
mm,
vomit in my mouth a little, I won't lie. But then,
Yeah,
like, even if you want to go beyond the weird Harry thing, he's such a horrible person to other children. Think about how horribly
right,
he treated Neville, who did
right,
nothing, had no relation to anybody, and was just a kid, and he is cruel. It's like if your child's teacher was like that, you wouldn't let that happen.
right.
What the hell? Stop
100%.
stop loving Snape. Blech.
Well, and he's a bully too, because it's like
He's bad.
you used your position of power to bully
Mhm.
children. It's why? Because you had a shitty childhood? It's like if anybody needed therapy, it was him. My gosh.
Goodness. Ugh.
But yeah, he's a bully and an incel. And,
Mhm.
you know, I hate that he had that line, that always line,
Mhm.
because,
People use it a lot, and I like what it should
yes,
be about, but that's not what it's about.
yes.
I think that's
And I
what
know
bothers
that,
me.
like, and I know people, my cousin included, have tattoos of that, and it means something different to
Yes.
them.
Yes.
Like, I know, my cousin got that in memory of her sister who passed away, that kind of stuff. I get that. But it was like you're just getting that because you think Snape is this great, you know,
Ugh.
literary character. And it's like, no, no,
And
I
like
agree.
I'm here
No.
to say that he
Mm,
has a complicated and intense storyline, and it's fascinating,
right.
and I'm here for it, and he has a role to play, and like I wouldn't say he's the worst bad guy in it. I mean,
Oh,
Dumbledore's not
no.
super great, though I love him, so whatever. But
Right.
like, obviously Voldemort's evil, and everyone will hate Umbridge for all eternity. But
Oh, yeah.
like,
Right.
to me, Snape is a villain in a way that the
Yes.
others are just bad guys that you're supposed to be like, meh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
I concur. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And sorry to all of you who love Snape. I mean, sorry, not sorry, I guess, but like,
Right.
I just can't. I can't be on your train. I can't. Number
Right.
6. Going back to Disney, Scar.
Scar.
To be super
He's
villain
hateful. He's
because
hateful.
like not only is he all like I want the throne, will murder my brother and try and kill
And
my
his
nephew
child.
or whatever, but
Yeah.
like on top of that, he's super shitty at being the king when he finally gets what he
Yes.
wants. He doesn't give a shit about anybody or anything. So he's super shitty then. And then even when it all goes to hell, he throws his friends, the hyenas, under the bus. Like he's just like he won't even like embrace them and be like, all right, fine, we're out. Peace. We'll come
Right.
back and attack another day. I don't know. Like he's just bad.
Yes. Because it's like, yeah. Yeah, he's bad. He's a baddie.
I think about all the times I cried whenever Mufasa died. And I'm like,
Right.
God damn it, Scar.
Oh my god. There was TikTok. TikTok as a whole. And I don't remember if Tessa sent this to me or somebody else did. Anyway, it was this little kid whose mom is videoing her while she's watching that scene, and the kid is crying, and she's like, "Yeah, he's okay. He'll be okay." And it's like, "No, kid, no,
He's
he's
not gonna
not gonna
be
be
okay.
okay. He's
Yeah.
not gonna be okay." And then it's like Simba's like, "Help, help!" And the kid's like crying, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"This is gonna make me cry.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you video this dramatic moment for your child?"
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, obviously, I never had kids, but like, if I had, I'm pretty sure I would just like fast forward that every time. Like, you don't need to see this part. It's
Right,
fine.
right, right. It's
Because you can just
fine.
like, and then Simba thinks Mufasa's dead, and so he runs away, and then Mufasa really does die, of old age, or you like give your kids a safe version because it's like it's too
Right.
traumatic. I can't watch it. I'll cry. So no.
Right. I know, it's awful.
Ugh.
Yes.
So
And that was like the worst is when he's acting like he's gonna pull him back up and he's
yeah,
like, "Long live the king," and
it's
just throws him, and
gross.
you're like, oh, and the music, it's just, yeah,
Everything's bad. It's bad. It's all bad.
bad. Yes.
Okay. Number 5,
Yes.
Hill House.
Oh.
Now, I'm saying
Yes.
this especially in the Netflix series. The book is
Right.
dark and twisted too, different, but to me, the house is the true villain, obviously, and
Right.
The Haunting of Hill House. But it's that it's always terrifying, and it lies to the people inside, and it'll trap their spirits there, if they die, and usually it's that the house is killing them, like it's convincing them to be dead, like it's a whole
Right.
complicated thing, and then like fuck that house, it messes with your head. I
Like it
mean,
makes you crazy.
well, and like I think about when, near the end where, the one brother goes to try and burn it down. He's like pouring
Yes.
gasoline, he lights it and nothing happens. And he's like, what the hell?
Right.
But it's actually on fire. Like it's just messing with your mind.
With mine. Yep.
It has so much ability to mess with your mind that it stays with you forever.
Yes.
I mean, those kids grew up to adults that were still haunted. Ugh.
They were messed
And
up
they were
because of the
all
time
fucking
that they
messed up.
spent there.
It just stayed with them. It was awful. So, blah. Villain.
Buh, indeed. Yes.
Okay, number 4.
Yes.
Ramsay Bolton.
Oh my god.
A true
Yes.
sociopath. Okay, so
Oh my god.
in fact,
Absolutely.
when Spencer and I were talking about it today, he was like, let's never watch that again. I said, absolutely. Let's never do that again. It's
Oh
such a
my god,
dark
that was the
series. Oh,
worst.
but
And everybody,
what's
like, for the longest time, it was always Joffrey.
yes. And
But
Joffrey is
no,
evil.
he absolutely, yeah, Joffrey's
Well,
terrible. I'm not saying that he's not,
and
but Ramsay
yeah.
Bolton is like the worst.
Well, that is like
Ugh.
in this whole franchise where everyone seems to be vying to be even more evil than the next and more
Right.
vile, somehow amongst all of them and all of the evil, horrible things that they have done, Ramsay just takes the cake of just
Um,
pure sadism.
100%.
Like, I
Absolutely.
mean, torture everywhere, taking skin off, like it's a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, him forcing Sansa to marry him and raping her over and over. God,
Right.
hate.
And that whole thing with
With
Theon,
Theon, like
I like.
all
Okay,
the
Theon
torture
was
stuff.
a dick. Okay,
Yes.
got it. He was a dick.
And so he lost
But
his dick, and I get it, it's fine.
yeah,
But like calling him Reek, like that whole thing, I feel so
right.
awful. Like all this
After a
horror.
certain
Oh,
after a certain point, you're just like, okay, Theon has served his time.
yeah.
He needs to, and he never really got over it until he died.
Mm-hmm.
Until like right before he died. It was just, yeah, he never got over the torture that Ramsay Bolton put him through. I mean, it was
It's
insane.
horrific. Ugh.
However, he got his in the end,
Yes, he did.
and that was glorious.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
It was
so
just like, finally.
the next 3 are villains that I think are worse than Ramsay Bolton. Can you imagine?
Oh, okay. Okay,
My
let's hear it.
personal this is my personal journey. I think
Yes.
because Ramsay Bolton's storyline, though horrific, really wasn't as long as you think it is.
Yeah, I started to say it's not like
I mean,
he's like
he's a
throughout the whole
yeah.
series. Yeah.
So at number 3, here's
Yes.
a nice throwback for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Annie Wilkes from Misery.
Yes.
And to me, it's like it's 100%. I'm your biggest fan,
I know
Paul.
she's
I'm your biggest
psychotic.
fan. Paul, why are you trying to kill Misery? What did she do to you? Paul. Like it's just
Oh God.
it's the obsessive fan. You're
Right.
kidnapped. No one knows you're missing. Everyone thinks you're dead. Like,
Right.
and you're trapped and there's no way out. And like you said in the movie, like she breaks ankles with sledgehammer, but in the book she cuts off his feet.
Yeah, I think she's 1 foot. She cuts off
One foot.
a foot, and
And
then
then she cuts off
and
a
then
finger because he complained
he
about
complains about
a
the
typewriter
typewriter.
key.
Yeah.
And like it's awful. Whoa. Wolf.
I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
I concur. I concur.
All right, number two.
Yes.
We're getting close. Number two. This is the scariest Disney villain that has ever Disney villained.
Okay.
Judge Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Lord Jesus, you are 100. Yes.
When I think villain,
Right.
nothing is as strong as his character. And like, yeah, I love the movie and the singing gargoyles and Jolly the goat, and it's all so happy. But
Yes.
then there's this guy who is this extreme religious hypocrite, really, who
100%.
is just consumed with his belief that his actions and everything he does is justified and that he is God's basically chosen
Right.
bullshit. And
And that
like,
he can do whatever he wants as long as he
mhm.
claims it's in the name of God.
And like it's this
Yes.
weird time in history in which he is a government official, but who is super religious and it's gross. And so he, to start him off, is, you meet him and he has murdered an innocent woman and then tried to drop her child into a well where it will drown and die. Except the archbishop or archdeacon or whoever he is yells at
Yeah.
him to stop because that's in the song.
Yes.
Stop. Um, and guilt trips Frollo into taking care of the baby, which he only does if the baby can stay locked up in Notre Dame. Like it can't ever come out. It's like, I'll take care of it, but like it has to stay here. And
Yes.
so even beyond that, he then quote unquote raises
Right.
Quasimodo, which who names a child
Loosely.
Quasimodo? What kind of horror?
I know. That's
It
like
means half formed, in case you're curious. But like,
somebody who's a real
and
dick.
then like
Okay.
spends his time with him talking about how he's deformed and detestable and a defective human
Right.
being. Like, I mean, that's what he's telling him over and over, and that he can't go outside and he can't leave because he's this horrible creature. And you're like, yeah, he's a great, good guy. But then, on top of all of that, enters Esmeralda, this beautiful drawn cartoon, because it is, cartoon. Um, and he lusts after her, and when she
Turns
refuses
him down.
him,
Yeah.
he decides that his lust is because of he's been bewitched by her, and that she's a witch and that she needs to burn at the stake because
Yeah,
she and I'm like, oh,
she caused
okay.
him to sin
Yeah,
just by existing.
instead of him just
Yeah.
embracing the whole we all sin. So good God.
Right.
Ugh. But so like he is horrific because he is such a real person that exists in the world.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Like the religious zealot who blames other people for anything that impacts their life. It's the whole school dress code, and girls don't wear things that are
Yes.
revealing, and at church you don't want to wear short shorts because you're going to make the boys lust after you. I'm like, I'm not making them look at me. I'm just wearing clothes that feel comfortable.
Right.
It's all on us to keep boys from sinning.
I
Fuck
know.
that shit. Ugh, it's gross. So
100%. And that, I think, yeah, again, yes. Because he actually could be a real person.
yes,
He
and
is
I
a
think
real,
he
he is a,
is
he's
he
like,
is
he's
real.
not, but
But
that
like there are people who
type.
are him in this
Yes.
world, and it is
Absolutely.
horrifying.
Yes.
Ugh. All right, number one. Are you ready?
Number one. Yes. Hit me.
Number one, Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, Hannibal Lecter.
Okay, so the reason why Hannibal Lecter is my number one top villain of all time is because both in the books and in the movies, he is terrifying at all times. And he's
Yes.
terrifying because he can get into your head and get you to do things kind of like Hill House. Like he can get people to swallow their own tongue or whatever.
Yes.
And beyond that, he is so incredibly smart and capable of doing things. That
Yeah, it's like wherever he goes, he's the most intelligent person in the room.
and he
And
authentically is. Like it's not
yeah.
a narcissist. I mean, he is narcissistic, but like,
Yeah.
but then you remind yourself that before he was caught, he was a therapist. Like, he was a psychiatrist. He was helping people by getting in their heads and was listening to their
Mm-hmm.
darkest secrets and was faking this empathy. And that is such a betrayal on a like
Yep.
like a, an intimate betrayal of just disgustingness, especially when you move beyond all that and remember that, oh yeah, he's a cannibal and he likes to eat people.
Right.
So you're like, okay, so he's gonna violate my trust and then he's gonna, cut off my ear and nibble on it.
Fry
Like, I
and
mean,
fry it up. Yeah.
I ate his kidneys with a nice Chianti and some fava beans, Good
Exactly.
Lord.
Yes. Did you ever watch the TV show
I did.
Hannibal?
I did. I don't know if I ever saw all of it, but I watched the first couple of seasons.
Yeah. And it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
But
it's good. I recommend it.
mm-hmm.
There's only 3 seasons. I highly recommend it.
Yes.
I mean, Anthony Hopkins is excellent.
Well, I was gonna say, to me, it's one of the things that about Hannibal is that Anthony Hopkins, I can't watch him in anything,
Anything else?
like,
You've
at
said that
all.
before, like you're like he's
Like,
always
it was such an experience, I guess, the first time I saw Silence of the Lambs, that I was like, holy fuck, this guy is a bad guy. Like, it just,
right.
I can't trust Anthony Hopkins. Like, if I met him on the street,
No.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm sure you're
However,
fine, but like, also,
in the TV show, I think Mads Mikkelsen does an excellent job
mm-hmm,
of playing that like double life kind of like,
mm-hmm.
oh, I'm gonna be normal and then
And then
I'm gonna
suddenly,
kill these people and eat them. It's
it
just
was,
like
I saw,
what?
I saw a TikTok and it was like, how do you change your face from like being bright and shiny or whatever to being like menacing or scary or a psychopath or whatever? And it was like the answer was you just tilt your head down and you're like this and and then
That
and it's like suddenly it's like, oh god, they're crazy, something bad's gonna happen. Yeah,
right.
it's like they're not wrong. Okay.
Oh.
But there you have it. That's my top 10 villains. And again, my order is correct.
Because April doesn't
It's
like
true. I mean,
Star Wars.
yeah, there's no Darth Vader. Sorry, guys.
I venture to say though, Darth Vader's not the real villain. It
No,
would have
like he just,
been
there's, there's so
he
much.
got he got manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
It was the other guy, Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real
I've
villain.
seen them all once. I can't help you.
She's like, I don't
I
know.
don't.
The really
I know
old
like
guy. Anyway.
I know like the vagueness and like I've seen enough pictures because the movies keep coming out that I know who's who mostly.
Yes.
Mostly. The new one. There's too many new things happening though, so don't ask me about
There
those.
are there are. It's true.
But
That's a good list though.
thank you. I tried to
That's a good
well, and
list.
I was afraid that you were gonna come at me with like Disney villain, blah blah blah. I was like, I have like 3 on mine.
Oh yeah. No, but you're talking about Frollo. As for me, as a kid, I think the one that scared me the most was Maleficent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just at the end when she's like, and all the powers of hell, and she turns into the dragon. But yeah, as an adult, Frollo is
Terrifying.
definitely
He is
the worst
terrifying. Yeah.
Disney villain.
Like,
At
ugh.
least the other villains you can like,
Well, I'm
you
like,
know,
it's magic. That's not real.
yeah,
There's not this or whatever.
Maleficent
Mm-hmm.
and Ursula and even what's his face? What was his name in Princess of the Frog? I mean, he had a creep factor.
Oh yeah. Oh crap.
Facilier.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
I just
or
saw
even
that.
like Captain Hook, he's kind of like goofy. I mean, but then it's like, oh, Frollo. Yeah, no.
Mm.
None of that nonsense. Cuz I really yeah, cuz he is the most real out
And
of
that's it, is that, and like I wasn't like a little kid when that movie came out, but I was still a kid.
right, right,
And
right,
like
right.
it still sits with me. Like,
I remember after because I went with mom. I think Walt went with us too. I think it was the three of us went to the movie theater and we got back. I remember her talking on the phone to her sister about the song that he
That he sings is
sings,
so disturbing.
the Hellfire song. You know, and
Hellfire!
I mean, it was like,
It's
you know,
burning me within.
I know, right?
This
You're like, oh my
yearning,
god.
discerning.
I know. You're just like, wow, that was spicy. you know, oh my gosh, Disney, what are you doing?
I'm sure that like I didn't embrace any of uh, that much of that in the song as I did as an adult, but
Right, right. And I think that was it. 'Cause I remember mom being like, yeah, that one song. And I'm like, what is she talking about?
you
So I'm
were
like,
like
blah, blah,
out
blah, blah,
there. They're
yeah,
singing
right.
gargoyles and like that's
Exactly.
fine and okay.
That song was strictly for the adults.
Yes, it was. Boy,
you know, Jeez
surprised they
Louise.
didn't, and they didn't Disney slip an animated scene with, him getting a hard on or something. Maybe I need to go back
Oh
and
my
watch to see if
god.
they did, because
Right.
old Disney was clever Disney.
Old Disney was like, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I like that list. It's a good
Thank
list.
you. Thank you. All right. I guess that means it's time for tarot time with April. That's spooky, spooky.
It is. It's that time.
All right, Claire. Tell me when to
Yes.
stop. Now remember, this is the first tarot reading of 2023.
It
What will
is.
our first week have in store for us?
No whammies, no
No
whammies.
kidding. We need a nice good year. The last few have been a
Stop.
little hit or miss.
You can stop. I know, right?
All right.
I mean, I don't expect them all to be good, but
Well, no, but like, come on, 2023. Give us some love.
no whammies, no whammies.
Woo. There we go. All right. We have the Pope.
Oh, the Pope.
Okay. Then we have the Page of Coins.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then we have the Ten of Cups.
Okay. No swords.
No swords,
That
no
can
swords.
no swords.
But we do have the Pope, which is the Hierophant, which we have had a few times now.
At least
And
once. At least once, yeah.
yeah, we've had him a couple times. And it feels weird because we were just talking about Frollo, so it's
Right.
like,
I was just thinking about that. I was like,
it's like, did we want that? Is that the? Oh, come back, come back. I'm trying. There we go. Okay, so this one is the one where it talks about how the Hierophant is like the trickster god. Is
yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh.
like Hermes and Jesus and Fox and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hierophant has earned his robes because, he's the go-between for gods and man. Do. You have to work to get the knowledge. Okay. Here we go. In reading this card, it has several meanings. The Hierophant is a teacher. He represents a group or a class or an authority. He studied a long time in order to learn all the things that he has learned. And let's see. Blah, blah, blah. So he is an indication for the need to conform and educate yourself. Or maybe you need to establish a spiritual tradition. No, thank you. I see it come up before kids go off to college, and if someone has lost their focus at work or needs to pursue another degree or career, He comes to us as a means to an end, a pathway to gain the education that lets you live the most authentic life. So, I don't know. I don't want to start my new year off having to learn new stuff.
But
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really
maybe that's
tired.
like learning stuff for the podcast.
I mean, that's fair. I can do that maybe.
Learning things to make it better.
Fine. I'll learn fun things for my happiness. If I must.
If we must.
But I think I'm gonna just look at it as I'm the go between the gods and the people. That's what it is. We're the go-betweens, Claire.
Sure.
All right. The Page of Coins, or Pentacles.
And please.
The Page of Pentacles is very thoughtful and introspective and is learning how to be himself. He chooses his friends wisely and finds excellent counsel. He's definitely grounded and growing up well, and he's just a great goofy guy.
Okay.
He's physical and takes good care of himself. Oh God. Is my New Year resolution to be athletic and I just haven't made it yet?
Actually, I was just talking about this earlier today that I need to get back onto some kind of like healthy regimen since I'm gonna have to like get on an airplane later this year.
There's that.
Airplanes give me anxiety being a fluffier girl.
Well, if it makes you feel better, like there was a whole there's been some plans that Congress is going to make guidelines that airplanes have to follow, like seat width, because there's been like some commission or something related to it, and like even small sized people complain about how small those goddamn chairs are. Like they're just not made for the average size person at all. Like it's
No,
not.
well, and I'm not sure about the fit in a person's ass,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But the leg room
Mm-hmm.
is ridiculous. It is like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I mean, I know I'm a taller person, but when,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's shorter than me is still having issues, it's like, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's not just
They
me.
don't they
Not
have
just me.
it has become how many
Seats
seats
they
can I
can cram in
possibly
there.
fit in here? And I'm
Yep.
like,
For the most money. Absolutely.
so
Yep.
so hopefully that means that there'll be some kind of, because there's not a standard in the industry, so there's not even that, which I find bizarre.
But they have to set like a minimum, like,
Yeah.
or like it has to at least be
Yeah.
this. You know, that may not be a bad thing. Yeah. Like I said, as a fluffier person,
Well, and
anxiety,
like,
because it's not even the flight itself. It's just the, will my ass fit in this seat? I'm going to spill out of it and crowd the person next to me.
mm-hmm,
I'm probably at some point, because even like my flights from here to your place and back
mm-hmm,
last year, there was just one flight I had to ask for a seatbelt extender. And I'm like, it fit on all these other fucking
yeah.
airplanes and this
And it's
one, and
like
it was
there
so
should be
close.
a standard.
Yeah, it was like they weren't all the same. And it was like this one, I mean, it was so, oh, I almost had it. But then I just had to ask. And I mean, thank God they didn't make a production of it. But it was just kind of like still embarrassing that you had to be like, hey, can I get the seatbelt extender?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
you know. But yeah, if that's a card about getting back on the healthy track, was just having that discussion earlier.
Oh, well
So
then maybe this reading is for you and not me, because I don't want
maybe.
to learn, I don't want to be healthy. No, I'm kidding. I need to be healthy.
I don't want
Um,
to learn and I don't want to be healthy.
but yes, so he's also a romantic, creative, playful, and adorable person, this Page of Pentacles. Isn't that nice?
Ooh,
Uh,
creative.
Romantic and creative are
Because
things that are on my New Year's resolution list. Because,
yes,
why the heck not?
right. Same.
Okay.
Less TV watching, more doing things. Yes.
We're going to end our first week of the new year with the Ten of Cups, which I don't know if you've had this. Oh my God, Claire. Blessings,
What?
celebrations, and wishes coming true.
What? Yes. Finally.
The person who has written this book says that personally she has a problem with the Ten of Cups because it seems to have a sitting on your laurels feel to it, and I'm like, because her question is, so you got
No.
everything you wanted. Now what? And I'm like, oh my God, I got everything I wanted. Can I just like sleep for a week? Can I take a break? Can I just like
Right.
chill and like breathe? Like I want that. Let me rest on my
Yes.
laurels for like 10 minutes. That's all I'm asking,
You're like, that's
guys.
all I want.
Uh,
Just a minute. Just please.
but like it says, when it comes up in readings, I'm quick to high five the client. But then we talk about what's coming around the corner. I mean, you can only stare at a rainbow for so long. It gets very boring. Okay, fair. I'm not looking at a rainbow. I'm maybe
Right.
taking a long nap or working on a puzzle or like not
Uh-huh.
thinking about how I'm going to pay off some debt or something. Like, holy
Right.
crap. Oi, bring me all
100%.
the cups, 10 the cups and all the joy. So
Yes.
I'm here for it. I want all of that in our first week of the new year. Woo, 2023. I will
Yes.
learn something new and I'll get healthy if I get all of my wishes
If
at
you
the
get
end of the
everything
week.
you wanted.
Absolutely, man.
That doesn't sound like a bad way to start the year, though. I'm
Right? I'm
just
like, all right, it's
saying.
fair. Making some, request of the gods with the Pope there being like, all right,
Right.
it's a new year, new me.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, Claire,
Yes.
what is going to be our next topic for 2023? What's going to
Let's
be on
see.
our wheel
Wheel
of
of
fate?
fate. Let's see.
Do 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 do. I should have a little song for this part.
You should have a little
A
song.
little song.
Cryptids.
Cryptids. Ooh. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
So we've done some of the big hitters, but
We
like
have, but there are others.
there are so many random weird cryptids out there. So
There
that
are.
should be fun. Maybe I can learn more about the Klickitat County ape cat and can bring that to you,
Yes.
and that can be
Right.
the fun cryptid of the new year.
That's, I know.
Uh,
The ape cat.
the
Oh my
ape cat.
gosh.
All right. Well, until next time, you can find us in all the things and all the places at.
Brunch and Judge.
Please follow, like, subscribe, comment, share, all
All the
the other good
things.
words.
All the things.
And you can send us emails with more topics for our Wheel of Fate or any fun stories you'd like us to share. And you can send me all of the hate about how much Snape is great. Go ahead, try and persuade me. I'm willing to try and be persuaded, but you're still probably wrong. But please go ahead, send them in. And you can
Yes.
send all of that to.
Brunch and Judge at gmail.com.
So until next time, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
Bye.
Bye.
Brunch